Welcome to MacGyver Talk,
where we talk all things.
MacGyver.
What was his name? Dean Anderson?
Yeah, Richard Anderson.
Dean Anderson, that's it. Yeah. You'd think the joke of looping this forever would get old for Adam, but it doesn't.
But it never does.
No, he's like, I'm just gonna keep fucking looping it because it's funny.
The thing is,
look at my cheekbones.
Ironically,
the joke is not. The joke is not for anyone but me. It's on the audience, but it's for me.
Oh, you millennials, very self-centered. It's all about you.
It is. I'm pulling a joke on the audience.
I hate to tell you this, but, with me, it's all about me, too. I'm just saying.
I do like eating and being able to continue living. It's pretty nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can be a bit overrated, but
living sucks.
Living's kind of dumb sometimes.
Well, on a personal update, Mr. Adams has himself some extra hardware, so I'm ready for him to bust out his geeky 13-year-old girl impression at any moment.
No, you just like to get me drunk and try to convince me to break out my geeky 13-year-old girl impression.
Hey, Dan, could you put on this Catholic school uniform?
No, Doug, I told you I'm not doing it again. Where are my Britney Spears records?
Thanks for calling in the Star Wars Forum. This is Dan coming at you live. We got our first caller on the line.
This is Dan, spelled with an R. Yeah, I got Invisalign. It's a pain in the mouth. It's dumb. I hate it. But I went in because I've always had a gap in my front two teeth that I've never been a fan of. And the woman, she's a kick, dude. I like her. But she's like, oh, yeah, that's what you're worried about, huh? And I'm like, what the fuck's that supposed to mean? And she systematically showed me how my teeth just suck. They're not. It's funny, too, because they're like to look at them. A lot of people were really shocked that I did Invisalign. They didn't think my teeth were that bad. And I guess visually, I didn't think they were either, except for the gap. But my bite's all fucked up. And Adam, actually, we kind of commiserated. We both had some issues with dentists over the last couple of years, and it seemed like every time I went to the dentist, it was something new. It was like I couldn't stop cavities from forming, and I've had a couple teeth removed because they were just fucking dying on me. And turns out it's because my bite has been so fucked up for so many years, and when your teeth don't come together right, it causes nerve damage. It causes teeth to rub and create spots with no enamel that get cavities. I learned a lot more than I ever probably wanted to know about dental health. But she says, yeah, we can do braces or Invisalign. Now I had braces when I was a kid. They obviously didn't. That's a long story too. But anyway, I want to do the Invisalign, because they're less cumbersome and all that. No, they're not. I probably should have just went with braces. But she told me, she kind of laughed and she goes, all right, well, Mr. Adams, you have a very complicated mouth.
I've been told the same.
That was her nice way of saying that you've got the teeth of a punk rocker from a 1986 English band.
But I don't, actually. And that's the thing, is that, my teeth are white, they're clean.
They're white and they're clean, but they're not all that, that orthodontic,
right, and that was the thing.
You're not going to be on the cover of Orthodontics magazine. That's what I'm saying.
And that is right, and that's the difference. Is that to the average person, to see my teeth, to see my smile, they wouldn't think of it as being that bad. To an orthodontist, because she's looking at the minutia, she's looking at the way the 3 points don't meet here and all this stuff. It was funny. And she just kept chuckling, man, this kind of evil chuckle. And I was just like, I don't know if I like this. So she, when I had everything installed, she says, well, like the tech was like, oh, and the adventure begins or something. The place it's primarily for kids. Like I think I said before, they got these Dr. Seuss animal heads all over the fucking, like the woman loves Dr. Seuss, and the office is just flooded with it. And so it was funny because you're doing so well. You're doing great. And I'm like, lady, I'm 45 years old. I'm probably older than you. Calm down.
You're doing a great job.
Yeah, it was.
Are you flossing?
It was funny. I enjoyed it. And so then the orthodontist comes over and the woman's like, oh, your adventure begins. And she's just like, oh, yeah, what an adventure it's going to be. I'm like, I don't like this anymore. So I've got rubber bands in because my bottom canines stick out and they've got to drag those back. And apparently that's a big fucking deal in your mouth when your canines aren't in the right spot. And, but yeah, she just kept making these little snide fucking comments. And now that I'm on tray number 2 of the 30 I have, and she told me it could take up to 2 years, and they even want to talk about doing an implant in the back. But she just kept like giggling this evil fucking cackle every time she talked about my teeth. Well, now that I'm on tray 2, I'm starting to understand why she was fucking laughing the way she was. I've been very uncomfortable. I can't eat. I can't talk. My lips are torn up from the anchors. My tongue keeps going over like, what's that? Ow! What's that? Ow! Yeah. So I hope this has all been worth it. But yeah, I'm a 45-year-old fucking man straightening his teeth. So kind of expected some discomfort, you know.
I hit the dentist yesterday. She stuck her fingers in my lips.
I hit her too. If she stuck her fingers.
I hit her. I just hit the shit out of her, dude. Fuck it. She ain't billing me.
She ain't billing me.
She said I flossed good and then charged me for it. So she stuck her fingers in my mouth and started looking at my teeth, and she's like, "Oh yeah, we've met." I was like, "Yeah, I know, it's fucked up. I know, I'm aware."
That's great. Like, we've met.
Do you ever wonder if people with like a weird fetish get into dentistry because they want to put their fingers in people's mouths?
Absolutely.
I can't think of anything else that would be alluring about being a dentist. So yeah, probably
money.
Because I mean, the money, yeah, but dude, you couldn't pay me to fuck with people's teeth.
Well, it's let me give you an example. In my former life, I had to go get
a porn star.
No, definitely not.
Okay.
The porn star? No. Anyway, I had to go get work boots, and we used to go get boots from the Red Wing shoe store. That was
God.
in Centerpoint, and then relocated to Trussville, and this was in Alabama.
It was the same guy in Pelham. There was one in Pelham, and it was the same guy, and I know what you're going to fucking say.
So it was weird because he always talked like this, like he was Igor, and you always came to him like, "Oh, have you had your feet measured? You know, your boots won't fit right if you don't have your feet measured." And it's like, you measured them the last time I came in. These were the sizes. Oh, we need to measure them again. Things may have changed.
Take your boots off.
And so it's weird. I think there are certain people out there who don't care about money, and they get this job that they've always, had a fetish over.
That dude had a foot fetish. I've never had a man or woman or creature. I go to a podiatrist because my feet are all fucked up, and he didn't check out my feet the way that dude at the Red Wing store did. Right.
Oh, yeah.
But I will say this. He had me in a pair of, I forget how many eye boots those were, but they came up about half calf, right? Because they were climbing boots. They're boots for climbing utility poles. And he had me up about half calf, steel shanks in them, because when you're standing on the ladder, they don't want the soles to move. Steel toes. I'm basically trying to explain these are not comfortable boots as far as, these aren't Nikes. And those were still some of the most comfortable boots I ever fucking had when he was done. So I will give him that.
So fuck it. He's doing a good job.
He did do a good job. Absolutely.
But he creeped you the fuck out while he did it.
He really
fuck
did.
It. You got a good pair of boots out of it.
I mean, it's almost like you just knew. that after he was done and nobody was in the store, he was going to go up to the front and lock it after he just got finished fitting you, go in the back and
stick his nose down inside of some fucking size 9s.
Yeah, or polish the bishop, while he had his face stuck in some size 9s.
Polish the bishop.
I hate it.
I hate it.
I'm not going to be able to play chess anymore now.
Yeah, Adam's totally thinking about naming this episode Polishing the Bishop right now.
If he doesn't, I'm going to be angry. I think
love it.
Like dentists, they are the highest paid medical professionals on average. But fun fact about dentists is that they also, as far as medical professionals go, have the highest rate of suicide. And I have to look that up to make sure that I'm not completely making that up. But I remember hearing that or reading that somewhere, and I thought, why? Why would that? Like a child oncologist, I could see having a high rate of suicide, right? But not a dentist. Like
I'm telling you, you can't pay me enough to work on someone's teeth because it's terrifying. Imagine waking up every day and going in and cutting on people's fucking sharp bones in their mouth.
Have you ever? I don't know, Adam, if you've ever seen it. I'm sure Doug has. Little Shop of Horrors with Rick Moranis and Steve Martin. Because I'm a dentist. I get off on causing
people pain.
So,
I've never seen it, but I know the bit.
Yeah, there might be something to that as well.
That's one of the few musical tunes that I'm fond of.
Or alternate theory, they do too much laughing gas and they fuck up the serotonin receptors in their brain so they can't be happy anymore. Boom.
Well, obviously you've never seen Little Shop of Horrors because he was fucking doing that.
Boom.
I know my, was it a periodontist, the guy that did my root canal. So I go in and he's playing Pink Floyd, first of all, over the speakers, which was fucking great. And he never talked beyond this level right here. This is everything he said. Mr. Adams, I'm going to do this. And, and I was thinking he was back there hitting the fucking nitrous before.
Mine was the same way. He comes out, he's playing like some soft rock. And he's like, what's going on, man? Good morning. We're going to do some testing on your tooth. So just like here, it's going to be a little bit uncomfortable. But and what he did was he wanted to make sure they had like the right tooth and everything. So he took this fucking liquid nitrogen cooled fucking metal wand.
Oh God!
And went against my tooth. And
God!
Does this hurt? And I was like, ah! And he's like, he says, okay, I think we found it. So
while Steely Dan is playing in the background.
Yes. Right. Yeah. And he goes, okay, I'm sorry. And he like rubs it to like warm it up a little bit. And I'm like, okay, good. And he's like, okay, now we're going to numb you. And I was like, oh, now, thanks.
Yeah, now we're good. So they kept hitting me with the fucking Novocaine. And then when he'd try to drill, I'd come up out of it. Like I'd tense up. He's like, you can feel that? And I'm like, yeah, I can. And they just kept hitting me and hitting me. So finally the guy's like, okay, hold up. And he just goes all over my mouth. I swear to God, I lost memories. He Novocained my fucking head so much. Like my brain just said, nah. He gets in and comes to find out I have what are known as rogue canals. You have canals in your teeth that the roots lay in.
Isn't that the new Star Wars?
Rogue canals, yeah.
That's exactly what the fuck that sounded like. Get out of my head.
Rogue canals. Star Wars. And
Rogue Canals 1.
A shitty prequel. Rogue Canals. So basically, when he was hitting the nerve cluster, it wasn't hitting all of them. And he was going in with the drill on nerves that weren't numbed at all.
So your nerves come up out of your tooth and then go somewhere else besides straight up or something?
Yeah, they kind of. I guess you've got a couple of canals in your tooth that they kind of go into. And there's like 2 or 3 of them, and I'm just guessing here. And I have 1 or 2 that most people don't have.
Dwarf Halfling Rogue.
Dwarf Halfling Rogue. Half elf. Yeah. So he's like, oh yeah, that makes sense. He's like, yeah, I imagine that probably hurt. Motherfucker, you just
I
about
jumped
got
out of the chair for
stabbed by a
fun.
utility knife. Like, I was instinctively reaching into my pocket for the utility knife I carried at work to cut you with. So, yeah, he was a trip. And I remember you telling me about your guy being the same way, and it's like, they're
That
back
must
there
just
hitting.
be how they. And plus, they're loaded.
No shit, they're just
So
happy.
yeah, they don't give a fuck.
I know the girl that was helping him. There was this one little window in the thing. We were in Alabama, and it started to snow. Like, I could see through the window, and I could see a little bit of snow falling. Well, what you call snow in Alabama. Here it would be like whatever. And she turns around and she says, "Uh-oh." And I knew what she was talking about because I saw the snow. But I'll never forget, he never skipped a beat, dude. He was just like doing his thing. And he's like, "Sally, we don't ever say things like uh-oh when we're in a patient's mouth. And if you ever do that again, you won't work for me anymore. Understand?" And like, she and I both were like, oh, wow. Like, I was uncomfortable for her. She was a cute, sweet little thing. Like, she didn't mean anything by it. She just saw the snow. Uh-oh, it's snowing, But I get what he's saying, right? You don't want to be like, oh God,
well, dude,
oh.
I've had a dentist in my mouth, and they said "uh-oh," and it was something that they had done. So I know.
Was it your crown?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. She goes to put the crown on, and she's pushing it, making sure it's all good, and then it just goes, and she goes, "Uh-oh," and I was like, "Are you fucking serious? Like, don't. I understand you fucked up. Don't say uh-oh and then run and get a new tool from the back. And, like, just at least try to play it off.
Pretend like you've done this before, yeah. If you would, crack, and you just don't skip a beat. Be like, all right, well, our crown broke. We're going to need to give me 1 second. I'm going to need to grab something, Yeah. I think that so the new dentist I have, she was teaching because Adam and I, the dentist that Adam is referring to, he and I both used to go see, and we both came to the same conclusion that this woman was just fucking awful. Like,
yeah,
what are they? The old joke. What do you call a dentist that got all C's? Or what do you? I'm sorry, I fucked that up completely. So we'll try over. What do you call a guy who graduates from med school with all C's? Doctor. So it doesn't.
You didn't give me enough time to answer.
Yeah,
so
I knew you knew it, but I
want to redo
the punchline there. Yeah, we'll just redo it. Everyone, forget what I just said. All three of you.
So, while we're on the subject of dentistry and Novocaine, over the years, I imagine you guys have had various work done. There's got to be a drool story in there somewhere. I know I had one personally. When they went to go take my wisdom teeth out. Because everybody that I knew that got their wisdom teeth taken out, they went under general anesthesia. Mm-hmm. And they all got like sick as a fucking dog afterwards. Mm-hmm. All of them. So I was like, you know what? I don't want the general anesthesia. And when I went into the doctor or went into the oral surgeon or what have you, and they were like, well, we understand that you don't want general anesthesia. So now just give me Novocaine. We'll be fine. I'm not the person that's going to freak out when you got a knife in your hand. So that'll be fine. And it was like, okay, we're going to Novocaine you up to the gills. And I swear to God, they put so much Novocaine in me that I felt it creep up my face. It started in my mouth, and then it started going up. I couldn't feel my nose. I couldn't feel my cheeks. And I swear to God, if they would have put like 2 more cc's in, I'm not sure I could have moved my fucking eyeballs.
That's how when I got the root canal and he kept hitting me, that's what I mean. Yeah, I could feel that cold sensation. It was on the left side, but yeah, my left eye kind of sagged. I could feel the cold air going into my sinuses. My ears were ringing. Yeah, like I said, I lost memories that day. They fucked with my brain on that one.
I love it.
But yeah, I can't think of anything where like I drooled. The last time I was at the shitty dentist that Adam and I were talking about, they had the thing in my mouth, the suction tool, and they were doing something, and but they weren't paying attention to the suction tool, so it wasn't working, and I was starting to gag a little bit, and I was doing well. I was like, okay, and then finally I was just like, did one of those kinds of things, and the fucking suction, I don't know what it grabbed. I think it got a hold of some of the like putty or something they were trying to use, because they just heard, and she goes, "Oh, good. Oh, uh, oh, well, okay." And went and got some more of the shit. I'm like, well, your fucking tech is supposed to keep all
That's
that
a
dry so I don't
huge
fucking
part.
gag. Right.
That's
like
huge
kind
part of the dentist.
big
Like,
job.
don't let me fucking drown in the water that you're shooting into my mouth. If you don't waterboard me, we'll be fine.
Ma'am, what is this towel for?
You fucking like that.
Right? I'm not sure how you're going to work on my teeth like this. I'm very confused.
Yeah, I had to swallow once at the dentist because I got my mouth so full of water, and I went like to swallow. I had to close my mouth. He's like, "Don't close your mouth. Fuck, what are you doing?" I was like, "I'm closing my mouth to swallow,
Right?
Because your tech is on Snapchat instead of sucking the fucking water out of my mouth."
Yeah, new dentist. She's good. She was explaining to her tech everything she was doing, and at one point she looks down. And she's like, "You learning anything?" And I'm just like, I'm learning that you got your boobs in my face while you're talking, and that's kind of nice.
My favorite thing is when they hit you with the Novocaine, or they hit you with like the local anesthetic, and they pump you full of fucking Novocaine, and then they shove all these little pieces of foam in your mouth to get your mouth open. And they're like, "How's your day going?" Well, yeah, me too. It's like, right? Fuck you.
That's part of the joke. Or it's just, you know what I mean? Like, that's just something that tweaks them a little bit. It's like as a waiter, you'd always walk by and be like, "How's everything taste?" Just as everybody had shoved food in their mouth, and everybody's just like, good. If you need anything, fuck off.
That's just the dentist version of stop hitting yourself.
They did when I had my root canal failed because of my own fault. So I went in and I had to have that tooth removed because it was hurting real bad. And they found another one, and they said, "It's shattered. You need to just take it too." And I was like, "All right, fine." So bottom left and top right, they took 2 teeth, at the same time. Same thing, right? Yeah, I'm all packed full of gauze, and I walk up, and this chick at the fucking counter starts asking me a bunch of insurance questions. And I did. I just cocked my head at one point and looked at her. Like,
she's like, "And who's your insurance with? And do you want to get on a payment plan for this?" Or
those are well, do you know your provider? And I'm just like, so I kind of tossed the fucking card at her, like, just tell me how much I owe you. This is fucking dumb. You're just being dumb right now. Punch my thing
in and then read the number off the computer to me.
You just ripped 2 fucking mouth stones out of my fucking head violently.
Because they 2 bones out of my face.
Right. So. They don't cut them out. They don't, whatever. They like use a fucking, the one they grabbed with a pair of pliers and just ripped out. The other one shattered more. And so they had to use like a chisel and fucking chisel it out. And and you're going to ask me questions about my insurance. You can fuck right off, lady.
I love it, dude. It's so funny to me. I love trying to talk through the fucking Novocaine. It's like, and she's like,
like, is this what ketamine feels like?
Everyone's like, okay, and you're like, wah, 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 wah.
Somebody, the other day, I think it was on Facebook, somebody was asking about weird dating experiences. I said ketamine, and it just reminded me. They're asking about right? Where are you going with this, Dan?
This is going to be an interesting story.
So they were asking about what was the worst fucking do what?
Hypothetically, the story that Dan is about to tell happened. Hypothetically.
Hypothetically, you have no proof. Oh, I've always said this podcast does absolutely nothing but ruin any chance of me getting into politics, and probably will be admissible in court someday. Some poor lawyer's assistant is going to have to listen through all of these to create motive or something. And to you, I say, fuck off. So yeah, they were asking about like, what's the worst date you ever had? And I was trying to think, and for me, it was when I was doing online dating way back in the day, like when Yahoo Personals was a fucking big deal. And a chick basically catfished me is what we call it now is catfishing, but she's like sending the pictures and shit like that. And then I get there and the girl comes out. I was like, wow, this chick's cute, and she seems cool. And this is cool. And she's like, well, really, it's not me. And da, 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 da. It's my friend and whatever. And her friend comes out and, again, I don't have great teeth, but I have teeth and they're not a different color. They're white. And I can't smell people can't smell my breath 6 feet away. I could smell her fucking
So
breath
you
6
think.
feet. Well, no one has said anything to me, so fuck them.
Well, okay, Dan. All right. So
It's time that we.
I'm sorry you had to
go
find
on
out this
record.
way.
So I just looked and I was like, nah. One dude said, it's in a Facebook group. One guy was like, oh yeah. He's like, the chick got there and it was a guy. And was like, so what do you think?
What
He's
is
like,
the plan there?
Right. And he said that, and I was like, how did you know? And he's like, well, because all of her pictures were super highly filtered, stuff like that. And I was like, well, my ex, I met her on Match.com and she'll tell you that, like, I was like, look, here's what I need. I need 4 body shots. I need full body shots. I need you with a piece of paper that says,
give me the fucking Carfax.
Right?
All right.
I was doing Reddit validation before Reddit was a fucking thing. I need a piece of paper with you holding it. So, and it was all about getting catfished a few times. One guy said, but I went on to say, I was like, you know what? But the thing is that I make that joke. But the thing is that there are a couple of women out there somewhere answering this same question. And they're talking about the guy who drove them around in his car all night, listening to Iron Maiden while he spouted off facts about Iron Maiden and metal bands. Or the chick that worked at the video store who's going to tell the story about the guy that took her out to the movie theater and was tripping on mushrooms for the first time and thought that the carpet wanted to fight him. And I said, it's me. I'm that dude. Right. So, but the ketamine, it reminded me of, I was about, 19 years old, I think. And there was this girl that worked at the movie rental place, mom and pop place. She was really cute. And we would flirt a little bit when I'd go in there and rent shit. And one night I said, hey, we should do something sometime. And she's like, yeah, absolutely. She's like, well, I've got these advanced screening tickets for a movie. It was Glengarry Glen Ross. And she's like, working at the movie theater, they'd get shit like that from the distributors and whatnot. So she's like, do you want to go? And I'm like, yeah, sure. Fuck, why not? So we a couple of days ahead, a buddy of mine gets this giant bag of fucking shrooms, right? And for those that are curious, I'm not talking about the ones that go on fucking, we're not talking portobello here, okay?
Yeah, don't say that go on
no
pizza.
porcinis?
No porcinis. These are not morels.
Sometimes psilocybin mushrooms do go on pizza.
Yeah, actually they do. I've done it. So my buddy gives me, my portion of them or whatever. And he's like, listen, don't eat these till this weekend. We'll all trip together. And I'm just like, oh, this is so exciting. So I go home, I think he gave them to me that day. And I go home and I'll never forget. I went to get in the shower and I just got so excited. I was like, oh. So I ate like a cap and a couple of stems, not a lot, and I had my outfit picked out that I was going to wear. And I get in the shower and I just start feeling good, man. Like everything's good. I'm smiling. The world is a happy place. I like life. Life is cool. I get out of the shower. I'm mellow as fuck. I didn't wear the outfit. I don't even remember what I put on, but I will always remember this. Instead of my regular shoes, I put on my wrestling shoes from high school. Wrestling shoes are barely shoes. It's like, it's super. I wanted to be comfortable. Like it was like sweats, wrestling shoes, and a comfy t-shirt,
And a wife beater, and then you show up.
Yeah.
Take her on a date.
She comes to pick me up and we're driving and I'm just grinning. I'm just looking out the window with fucking perma-grin on my face. Right. And we're walking up to the movie theater. And I remember the parking lot kept tilting further and further back. And the movie theater was up on the hill.
And so she looks over and you're just like leaning back.
I'm like leaning forward, trying to trudge up this fucking hill that didn't exist. Right. So we get into the theater and it's got this really, there's a geometric pattern on the carpet and it's red and blue, very contrasting colors. And it's very busy. And I'm sitting there and I'm staring down, and it was me, her, and some friends of hers. And I didn't know anybody, but her barely. And I'm sitting there looking at the carpet, and the carpet's just making me mad, man. I'm just mad at this fucking carpet wants to fight me. Fuck this carpet, okay? This
So what
fucking
you're
carpet's
saying
an
is
asshole.
Dan on mushrooms is not much different.
No, not really. I'm just angry for no reason. So we walk into the theater, and there's a couple hundred people in this theater, right? And all of them turned around, looked at me, and knew that I was tripping on hallucinogenic mushrooms. They just knew. I knew that they knew. They just fucking knew, right? Spoiler alert, nobody fucking knew. So I'm sitting there and I start getting anxious. I'm like, ooh, I don't know about this, right? This is the first time. I don't remember if I'd done acid prior to that or not. Which, by the way, kids, don't do fucking acid. It sucks. I'm not a fan.
It's awesome.
Ugh. It's so I'm sitting there and I'm like, I need to get up, right? So I go up to the bathroom, and I opened the bathroom, and I remember it was white tile on white tile, white fucking dividers in between the stalls, white fucking everything, and these bright ass white lights. I thought I was dead. And I was like, oh, and I'm in there trying to pee, and I'm like, I'm very uncomfortable. So I walk back in, and we're sitting there, and we've all seen the guy that's on fucking drugs do this, where he just turns to someone and goes, "Yeah, we need to leave." And she's like, "Is everything okay?" And I'm like, "I'm tripping on mushrooms." And she's like, I thought something was off, but really? Shrooms? I was like, yeah, I'm on mushrooms right now. We need to leave. We need to leave right now. So we go out, and I'm just apologizing to her. I'm like, I am so sorry. I'm so sorry. And she's like, no, it's cool. She's like, a lot of my friends do it and everything. She's like, it's not a big deal. We wound up dating for like a year. We moved in together, as a matter of fact. It was a train wreck because I was a fucking train wreck, and any relationship I had was going to be a fucking train wreck. I still think about her sometimes, and like the fact that I owe her a fucking apology just for being alive. But yeah, so she took me home, and then I walked around the city I lived in for like the next 14 hours, fucking just watching cars melt and shit. It was fucking wild. So, but yeah, so point being is that you may be somebody's, shitty date story. Like I said, that's not as bad as some of the ones I fucking heard. For me, the thing that annoys me the most is ghosting. Like, you'll set up a date. You'll sometimes they'll ask me, I'll ask them, whatever. Everything's cool. And then they just don't show up. And my favorite's when they'll hit you up like a few days later, like, hey, what's up? You're like, wow, fuck you. But it's cool, right? Time.
Better to know now.
Well, there's that, right? That you're a fucking flake right off the bat.
Yep.
We've talked about the 5 love languages, and that everybody has a love language. And I think it's a really neat, it's a relatively new 20, 30-year-old philosophy. It's both of my co-hosts here are pointing at their dick right now when I said love language. Their love language is dick, which that doesn't shock or surprise me at all. My love language is acts of service, and acts of service, kind of boils down into time. And when you think, like, if one of us goes to the store, we always hit up the other one and say, hey man, do you need anything? All 3 of us do it. That's an act of service, right? That's how I know that I care about somebody, that someone cares about me, is when they're willing to say, if Adam says, hey man, I'm running to Target over by you. Do you need anything? Yeah, man, I'd like some potato chips and a fucking Diet Mountain Dew, if you don't mind. Yeah, man, I got you. And then I meet him outside, and he hands me a shit. I say, thank you. And then that's it, right? And I've done the same. But the fact that somebody will do that for you, in my opinion, is pretty fucking cool, right? But on the flip side of that, if you waste my fucking time, I consider that very uncool. It's like the dark matter of cool. It's not cool at all. Don't waste my time. Because the thing is, if you don't want to go out with me, if you change your mind, dude, that happens, right? You start thinking, and you're like, you know what? Maybe I'm not into this guy or gal. Maybe the guy or gal says something in between that you decide that you're not compatible. Maybe you just get cold feet, and you're like, I don't know if this guy or gal is going to fucking like me, and I don't think I can do this. just hit them up. Just hit them up. Say, hey, man, something came up.
Sometimes
not
it's
gonna happen.
buyer's remorse, where
Sure.
that thing looked one way on the rack, and then you turn around and you put it on and you look in the mirror and you go, I'm not wearing this shirt. This shirt is wearing me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm okay with that. And I'm perfectly okay with you saying, hey, I've changed my mind.
Yeah.
That's fine. I'm not upset about that.
Well, back in the, it's like back when, especially, I don't know how it is nowadays, but back especially when I was a teenager, when you put yourself out there, you quite literally put yourself on the line, and the feeling was, if someone didn't like you, that they were rejecting you as a person.
Absolutely.
Like you were just a piece of shit or something, or undesirable, and it just made you feel absolutely horrible. Now, as an adult,
right,
I realize that the whole purpose of dating is to get to know someone better, to find out the things that you like and the things that you don't like, and the things that you can deal with and the things that you can't deal with.
It's a 90-day free trial.
Yeah, well, that's what it should be, And well, personally, I think marriages should, be like a limited term contract.
Every 3 years, I have to fucking re-up.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like you've got to have a license to get married. It's like you would think that periodically, just like your driver's license, you have to renew that license. And then, right. Like when your time period came up, you're like, no, I'm not fucking signing on the dotted line.
I changed my mind. I'd be fine with that personally. And that was discussed in the thread, was that, well, I hate hurting people's feelings, whatever. Well, but when you ghost somebody, you're still hurting their feelings, and you're wasting their time and being a dick on top of it.
You don't have to deal with it.
Exactly. When you ghost someone, it's really a very selfish thing, because you don't have to deal. And some of the women were like, yeah, but I've told some guys I didn't want to date him or whatever, and they come back with some really venomous, horrible things. And I've seen it. I've seen it from both sides. But men, I think especially, get very aggressive and nasty when you, like what Doug said, because they take it way too fucking personal. And I just don't. If you change your mind, or you're like, hey, I decided after I sobered up that you're fucking ugly, that's cool, man. Let's get this out of the fucking way now. There's no point in dating
ugly later.
Right? Let's not deal with this later. Let's do it now,
Yeah.
Because this isn't going to go anywhere good. I don't understand the thing is it's not like it was 20 years ago. Dude, 20 years ago, if you were cute and had a nice ass, I'd put up with a lot of bullshit, right? I am simply not that way now. You can have the nicest ass in the world and just be fucking gorgeous, but if you fucking irritate me, dude, you're done. I just don't do that anymore. And that's the difference between being a teenager and being a fucking adult, right? Yeah. As an adult, you realize this ain't, it's a hot piece of ass and that's fucking great. And we all enjoy that. But I hate you. Like, there's nothing about you that I like beyond your ass. I joke now that I've got the Jeep and the Harley, that I'm 2/3 towards the ultimate midlife crisis starter pack for a man. And that all I need now is the little 25-year-old fucking twit that I can't stand, but has an ass you can bounce a quarter off of.
No, you need a Diet Coke addiction first.
A Diet Coke. Pepsi free. But I just don't see myself doing that. Sure, I'll hook up with a 25-year-old at a fucking bar one night. I got no problems with that. But I ain't fucking with anybody that I don't like. I'm 45 fucking years old. I've only got, I have a limited amount of time left. I'm at like 2 out of 5 hearts for the Zelda fans. I don't, I ain't got time to fucking waste on stupid fucking people,
If you're this far in your journey and you only have 5 max hearts, you're really just trying to speed run the fucking game, dude.
Sometimes, brother, I feel like I did. Yeah, I have my moments.
Well, let me talk to you about the Olive Garden incident. So, I don't remember whose birthday it was, if it was mine or my sister's or my mom's or some shit like that. But we all met up, went over to the Olive Garden in Trustful, which at that point hadn't been opened terribly long. And we had a young, rather attractive waitress. And I said something to my mom at the time and it was like, hey, she's cute. And
Oh,
mom
God.
kept
I know your mom.
encouraging
Oh,
me
God.
to
Any
talk to
mom.
her, ask her out, anything else. And I looked over at my mom and I was like, no, she's too young. And she's like, what do you mean she's too young? She's obviously over 18. I'm like, no.
Yep, that's your mom.
Yeah. And I was like, no, she still has hopes and dreams.
Yeah, no shit, right?
So it's like, if I start dating these young ones, then they're going to want the house, the 2 kids, all that bullshit. And I said, no, when we think about women for Doug, we need to think more wounded gazelle,
The one that couldn't get away.
Yeah, it's something that someone that life has already shown them how ugly it can be, and they have more realistic expectations.
But
and I don't have to be fucking Prince Charming and all of the above.
And that's the problem that I see with a lot of. I'll just go ahead and say with a lot of women because it's my perspective, right? I'm not trying to pick on women or say that they're the problem in relationships because I've been the problem in most of my relationships.
The Bullshirt Gmail inbox is already blowing up.
Right? Women are sold this fantasy, and there are some that never get past that. And they want this man that's both strong and yielding. And they want a man that will hold them and comfort them, but allow them to be comforted. And they want a dad but not a dad, and they want to be the mom, but not be the mom. And again, I'm not mad at them, and I don't blame them, and I don't think this is all women.
No, it's not.
I think that it's the ones that bought into the fantasy and are having a hard time accepting that it's not real. I did it, right? I had this fantasy with what a woman was going to be, and it's not like that. Now the difference is that, especially over the last couple of years since getting divorced, I've been working on myself a lot. And the first thing I had to do was deprogram myself. I had to get rid of these ideas that I had in my head of what a relationship was, of what women were, of what men were. We've talked about the whole thing of masculinity and what it is and why it can become toxic at times. And I think it's what leads to like the gender bending that we've got now, all the pronouns, the they, the them, and all that. It's because people don't identify with the gender specific pronouns that they're given because we've put them in these boxes. Like I said, I know women that have got great jobs. They're VPs in companies and they've got MBAs and all this. But if you look at the traits that they use to get that, it's strength, it's determination, it's drive. Those are all considered masculine traits, not feminine. They're not soft, yielding, and nurturing. They're the opposite. So does the woman lose her femininity because of that? I don't think so. But there are men that real ball buster, that fucking dyke, whatever. Wow, dude. Okay, deep breath there, Sparky.
Well,
for me, it isn't so much about gender roles. It's more about when you're younger, you're sold this bill of goods that you're incomplete, which at that age you most certainly are.
Right.
But you're sold this bill of goods that you're going to find this magic person.
Yes.
That's going to complete and complement you.
Yes.
And take you to new heights as a person.
Preach, brother Doug, preach.
And that
Amen.
shit doesn't happen. What you
No.
have to learn as you get older is you need to be a complete person to be truly in a relationship.
Absolutely.
Because, Dan and I talk about, what we call the Venn diagram all the time as far as dating. It's like, I want there to be two distinct circles, and they overlap about 15-25% in the center. Yeah, everybody's pointing. That's all I'm saying.
We can't be serious for too long. Come on, man.
No, and the thing is, you should have your own independent, complete life, and where it overlaps with someone else, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem that I generally have with dating is everyone that I wind up dating, that Venn diagram, it's useless because they want the two circles stacked directly on top of each other.
Right.
Until they get to that point where, no, I want to go out with my girlfriends and do whatever. They want you all the time until they can't stand you and they're sick of you because you gave them what they wanted, and then they want it gets fucking.
Well, because you can't fill that hole for them. You can't. It's
Nope.
never ending, right?
You can't make someone happy. We've had that discussion.
No,
I can fill their fucking hole, dude.
Yeah,
I can fill their fucking hole.
at least for a good 2 or 3 minutes, right?
Well, a minute and a half of that is me crying.
Hey, you know what? You're getting better. You're getting better, buddy.
I do like to cuddle for a minute and a half. So.
But then we start sweating and we got to move. No, I think that you can't. I don't believe that you can make people happy, and I think you're spot on there. Is that, and I see that a lot. People say, "I'm just looking for that person. I'm looking for that person, that person, that person." Folks, that person doesn't fucking exist. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. I've seen other people. No, you haven't. What you see is the culmination of a lot of work and a lot of effort. And for 15 years, people thought my ex and I were this perfect couple. People told us, shit like that. They didn't see in the background the fucking problems we had. And they were normal relationship issues for the most part, right? We grew apart. It happens. I don't hate my ex. I don't think she hates me. We don't want anything to do with each other because we're fucking exes. You're like, you're still friends with your ex? No. I thought about it and then I decided, no. It's too hard because you're reminded every day of what you lost. I had a good marriage, and I lost something there, and she left very big shoes to fill. And I'm just now realizing that as I get back into dating, like I had she was a great combination of all the things I like. But we grew apart. And again, it happens. But the idea of finding this perfect human being, I need somebody that can put up with my bullshit first and fucking foremost. I need someone that can put up with my bullshit, and I can put up with their bullshit or their baggage or their crazy or whatever the fuck you want to call it. I call it their bullshirt.
Bullshirt.
Yeah, did you like that? Do that in there.
Plug.
He said plug. The thing. I got to be able to put up with their bullshit, and they got to be able to put up with mine. It does help if we have some common goals, either like political and philosophical and whatnot. Music would be cool if they like the same as me, but I don't really care. If they like sci-fi, if we can sit and geek over, my ex had her degrees were in science. So sci-fi, she enjoyed sci-fi. I like being able to sit on the couch and watch, the same types of movies and things like that. You've got to have, see, here's the thing. And I use the terms friends with benefits, and that fucking triggers women. It fucking triggers women. And the reason it triggers them is that all of them at some point have been used for sex. They've had some fucking asshole that pretended to like them and pretended to want to be in a relationship just to get sex, because women are the gatekeepers to sex. Men are the gatekeepers to relationships, and fuck them over because of it. But if you really look at the term friends with benefits, that's exactly what a fucking relationship should be. The person, the woman and the man should not be your father, your mother, your fucking whatever issue you have. They should be your friend. You should like hanging out with them because you enjoy.
You
the
leave
same
me
things.
alone.
Do what?
You leave me
You
alone.
leave me alone. He's triggered. He's over there like shaking and like, stop calling me out on the podcast. Dan.
Stop.
You have to be friends with them. The difference is that this is a friend that while you're laying there on the couch watching fucking Star Wars, she pops her tits out and you're like, hey, what's going on over here there, Princess Leia? You know, I've said before that if I could get past the whole hairy penis thing, Doug and I would be, life partners.
So all you gotta do is shave, Doug. That's all he's saying.
Yeah, right. Hint, hint. A little manscaping wouldn't kill you there, Doug.
This podcast brought to you by
Heterosexual-
Manscaped.
Heterosexual life
partners. Yeah.
And I think that's honestly, I believe sex is where relationships really start to get complicated. I think that because it's the difference. It's the only fucking difference between your female friends. Like for me, the only difference between my female friends and my male friends is that I probably want to have sex or would have sex with 90% of my female friends. It's just a fucking fact, right? Most of the women I know, if they're like, hey, Dan, you want to fuck? I'm like, yeah, I do, actually.
Almost always, yes.
Almost always, right? I'm still pretty healthy as far as that goes for my age. Just putting that out there. And so that is really the big difference right there between your male friends, your female friends, or vice versa if you're a female, or if you're a gay or lesbian. I guess it gets even more complicated. But I think sex is where and it's because a lot of times because men will do dumb shit for sex. We just will, because women don't have to do dumb shit for sex. Women just have to say, all right.
Yes.
Yes, that's it. That's all they got to do, right?
For the most part,
you take an average.
There's ladies out there that would tell you that, sometimes they want to have sex and their partner doesn't. But also, I would tell ladies, hey, tell them you want to have sex. Don't drop
don't drop hints, right? Guys are dumb, ladies. Sometimes we're fucking dumb.
I'm not dumb. I just don't like hints.
I don't like hints.
So when someone's like, I just pretend not to get it until they fucking tell me that's what they want because it's fucking annoying.
As opposed to you're passive aggressively ignoring them. So yeah, I get it. No, I'm kind of the same way. I'm kind of a dick like that. I'm the same way. Like,
you notice anything different? No. Now move. I'm trying to watch TV.
Get off me. I think that women have got to understand men are dumb, and this is kind of a semi-serious topic. Sometimes men are scared to take the first to initiate because of the kind of the culture. And what I mean by that is that what I think is just like you do something and I think you're flirting with me and I put my arm on you or I try to kiss you or whatever the case.
Cancel.
Right. Exactly.
Cancel.
This rapist motherfucker. Whoa, calm down, time out. That's not what I was trying to do. I thought, well, did you ask for her consent? And did you, and all that? Just a reminder that I like to make fun of liberals, ultra liberals, just like I do ultra conservatives. Okay. And the idea of this fucking, consent document and all that. No, I'm sorry. Fuck all of that. Okay. No, I'm not advocating rape. No, I'm not advocating anything like that. Right. At all. But at some fucking point, you've got to be able to just flirt and you kiss someone and they go, to me, where it becomes a problem or problematic, as the ultra liberals like to use, is if I kiss someone and they push me away and go, oh, dude, hey, no, I'm sorry if I gave you that, and I go, oh, fuck that. You gave me she's just playing hard to get. What's the 13 no's and a yes is still a yes.
Yeah, no.
Right, exactly. No. Very much means fucking no, folks.
That was a James Bond bit, and it was James Bond from the 50s.
Yeah, it was Sean Connery, right, exactly. Yeah. And it's funny, there's a College Humor, one of them has a great fucking bit. It's an old woman, and then one of the younger, I can't remember her name, cute little brunette, and they're like they're cutting back and forth between them. And it's kind of comparing that idea that in the 50s, and he just kept coming by and just kept telling me that he was going to keep coming by my house until I agreed to go with him. And then they cut over to the young girl, and she's like, he's fucking stalking me. He keeps coming to my house, and he won't. But it's fucking brilliant because that's exactly it, right? You look at the stories of men and women that have been together for 50, 60 fucking years. The guy kept coming to her house, and he kept bringing her flowers, and he kept insisting that she goes out with him, and he just kisses her. And then you come to the nowadays, and I'm not saying that it's okay to force yourself on people. I don't feel like I should have to fucking say that, but apparently I do. But again, if I make my intentions known and a woman tells me, "Hey Dan, listen, that's not what I was saying. I'm sorry if you got that, whatever, you kissed me and I don't want you to kiss me again." I go, "Wow, I am so, now I'm the one that feels like an asshole. I am so fucking sorry." I did kiss a woman one time. It was after my divorce, and she didn't kiss me back, and she just sat there, and I was like, oh, I fucking misread this. I didn't misread it. She was just kind of shocked that I did it. So things worked out, but I felt like such a fucking dick. So I think there's so I want women to understand that men, sometimes we're just being careful. I am. A woman can throw some serious fucking signs at me, and either I don't get them because I'm dumb, or two, I'm second guessing everything in my head like fucking crazy. Is she coming on to me? Is she flirting? Is she hitting on me? What? Oh God, what's going on here?
What's up, Doug?
Yes, Doug. Can we help you?
See, Dan has a long-winded way of going about things, and here's
Hey, Pot, go ahead, Kettle. Go on, buddy. Go on. What you got?
Here's what he's expressing.
Tell me what I think, Doug.
If you're in a relationship with Dan and you want to fuck, either A, tell him you want to fuck, or do something blatantly obvious, like handle his junk.
That'd be kind of hard for you to explain that you weren't interested if I was like, hey, what you doing down there?
Or alternatively, take his hands and place it on your junk. See, those are very obvious signals, and at that point, consent is implied, and he's not really happy about all the complications that go along with
I would like to think that all of those things imply consent. Yeah. Roll up in my apartment and, dropping your clothes on the floor. Knowing me, I'd be like, oh, do you need those washed? Do you like fabric softener? What, do you need something to put on in between?
Well, meet Dan the overthinker.
And again, it boils down to, I don't ever want to be that guy, right? I don't want to be that fucking guy and to my knowledge, I never have been. I can't think of any women out there. Like I made the joke earlier about, I'm sure there's some women that have called me their worst date ever, but I can't think of any situations where there was ever a woman that would come back and say that, I forced myself on them or I was inappropriate or whatever. I have kissed girls and had them be like, oh no. And I'm like, oh God. And that's been the end of it, beyond that, I don't think I've ever been that guy, and I certainly don't ever want to be that guy. I think that whole mentality, that macho fucking mentality, is gross as fuck, dude. Like the idea that it's just fucking nasty. Like it's just fucking gross. I don't know.
Like I'm supposed to be a machine and I'm supposed to basically sit there the whole time and be like, you want to fuck, you want to fuck, you want to fuck, you want to fuck.
You do. That's the one that bugs me. Like,
you want a sandwich? And then we can fuck. And then we can fuck.
Fuck sandwich.
No. You got to ask if she wants a sandwich. She says yes. You go get it, bring it back, and then say, I got you a sandwich. Now we got to fuck.
Right, exactly. Well, I got her a sandwich. What the fuck was she expecting?
I'm such a nice guy, and she just fucking blows me off.
There it is, right there. The nice guy never fucking gets nothing.
I'm such a nice guy.
You're not. You're a fucking asshole.
I'm a nice guy.
No, I'm a nice guy. I bought her a nice dinner and she didn't even fucking put out.
Took her to fucking Sizzler. She wouldn't even blow me in the parking lot.
Blowjob in the parking lot of a Sizzler. Buddy, you, sir, you're high class.
I am. I had the 2 for $20.
I did make a joke the other day about how I like to pay on dates. And, to kind of clarify that, I've also, in that, if you want to look at it that way, I've also taken Doug and Adam out on dates because I've just bought them food.
And I also didn't get blown in the parking lot.
No, you did not, and neither did I. For the record, I bought you a sub that one day. I'm just saying I bought you sushi. It's just some bullshit.
Well, at least I got 6 inches
of a sub. He meant it's actually a Cuban sandwich. So, but it's the I like to pay. I just it's a thing I do, and I'm not trying to be a chauvinist or anything like that. But I told someone, I was like, oh yeah, I don't mind. Conversation. They're like, well, that's nice. Whatever. Yeah. She can get anything off that fucking 99-cent menu she wants, man. You should do 3-4 things. I'm fucking down with that. So, which I am very much I'm not cheap when I take people out. If I ask you out on a date and you say yes, I personally think it's my responsibility to pay just as much as if I said, hey, Adam, I got to run to the store. You want to run to the store? Go grab something and fucking eat. Do the thing. And I was like, yeah, fuck it, man. I ain't doing nothing. I'm going to buy because I asked him to come hang out with me and do a thing, you know?
Well, we've all been out to eat with that dude. It's like, I'll pay. Fuck it. I'll pay. And then when you start telling them what you're about to order, they're like, oh, well, I mean, goddamn. Fuck, man. I mean, I was talking about like a little side or something.
Not a whole fucking meal. And then you got me and Doug. We're like, is that all you're going to eat, Adam?
That happened, yeah.
I got a porterhouse. Yeah, I mean, fuck, you got to get some mashed potatoes and a couple of beers and a fucking set. Hey, what do you want, a dessert? And Adam's over there like, I'm uncomfortable. This is weird. I don't understand this. Me and Doug are like, no, you know what? Fuck it. Just bring the whole goddamn table. 2 of these, 3 of these.
Well, maybe Adam's been conditioned for that blowjob in the parking lot.
That
He's like, I don't want to blow you.
I can't handle you and Doug. Jesus Christ, man. I think you could, by the way.
I did not bring my throat numbing spray.
Ooh, hey, that exists. Neat.
Yeah,
I mean, shut up. Sandwich. But
you know what? I'm actually worried about moving because I have to get all the embarrassing shit out of my apartment before the movers get here. That's actually the main thing that I'm worried about.
I kind of want to ask, like, what kind of embarrassing shit? But I kind of don't want you to put it out there.
If I was willing to tell you, it wouldn't be embarrassing shit, now would it?
Touche, sir. Touche. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we hope you're having a wonderful week. Thank you for tuning in.